Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Podmas, our nightly Advent journey, where each bottle brings a new place, a new story, and a moment to slow down. I'm your host, your fat friend Mark, and tonight we've reached day 17. Over the past 2 weeks, Podmas has taken us across Europe, the Southern Hemisphere, Asia, and back again, exploring familiar grapes and uncovering a few surprises. Tonight's wine is one of the great comeback stories in the wine world. With that, let's introduce Cielo, Cielo d'Or, a Chilean Carménère. Carmenere is a grape with a long dramatic history, and Chile is where it truly found its second life. Let's start with the grape itself, because many people have never knowingly had Carmenere. Carmenere originated in Bordeaux, France, where it was once one of the original six red grapes used in classic Bordeaux blends. Flavor wise, Carmenere sits somewhere between Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon, but with a personality all its own. Typical Carmenere flavors include ripe cherries, blackcurrant, plum, warm baking spice, and a distinctive green pepper or herbaceous note, which is its signature trait. That green pepper note isn't a flaw, it's part of Carmenere's identity, especially when grown in the right climate and harvested at full ripeness. And so let's do a little history here. In the 1860s, the phylloxera plague devastated European vineyards, and the Carmenere was thought to be completely wiped out. What no one realized was that at the time, was the Carmenere had already been brought to Chile in the mid 1800s, where it was mistakenly planted and labeled as Merlot. It wasn't until 1994 that French empolographer Jean-Michel Brusquot correctly identified these vines as Carmenere. Almost overnight, Chile discovered it had been growing a lost grape for over a century. Since then, Carmenere has become Chile's signature grape, and Chile now produces the majority of Carmenere in the world. Well, let's talk about Chile for a minute. Where is it? Well, this is South America. This is our first time really heading over to South America. Um, Chile is highlighted in red, this long, narrow strip of land on the southwestern coast of South America. If we zoom in a little bit further, there we go. Uh, the wine here that we're talking about, Cello d'Or, comes from Chile's Central Valley, which I've circled here for you. Um, and that is the heart of the country's wine production. This region is ideal for Carmenere because of warm, sunny days that allow full ripening, cool nights that preserve acidity, long growing seasons that soften the tannins and deepen the flavor. Here's another look at the Central Valley. In Bordeaux, Carmenere often struggled to fully ripen. In Chile's Central Valley, it finally gets the time and warmth it needs, which results in wines that are smoother, rounder, and more expressive. This is one of the coastal cities there in the Central Valley. Um, this is the Central Valley itself. Very beautiful. Clearly, gondolas going up and down the hillsides. And here's a vineyard within the Central Valley. So let's talk tasting notes while I cut this one open, hopefully. Hopefully better than the last few days. On the nose, we're going to get spices, ripe cherry, black currants, and that subtle green pepper note. Savor and inviting rather than sharp. And again, a bad cut today. Not as bad as yesterday, but that's all right. On the palate, round and approachable. The fruit is rich but balanced with spice woven throughout. The structure is solid without being aggressive. The finish, persistent and aromatic. with lingering fruit and gentile, herbaceous notes that remind you this is unmistakably Carmenère. Well, I can tell you, I've never had a Carmenère before. I have no idea what to expect. I'm a little timid about this distinctive green pepper, but you know, we're here to sample and try new things. That's kind of the whole point of this. So it's a much deeper red than some of the other red wines we've been drinking. Very deep. Definitely pick up the cherries and the blackcurrants and spices. And strangely enough, that green pepper, it is there. It is not overpowering, but it is distinctively there. That is interesting. Let's give it a go. So it says round and approachable. I would agree. It's nice. It's full in the mouth. Fruit is balanced, rich but balanced. Spice woven throughout. Yeah, and you on the back end you do pick up that green pepper. This is weird, not in a bad way. Just not anything I've ever experienced in wine drinking. Yeah, if you want to have a interesting time and something unique, I guess a Carmenère is a way to go. Again, never had one, had never heard of it before doing some of this research here for tonight. Interesting. Let's talk about food pairings. This wine really shines with food, especially dishes that echo its spice and savory character. Grilled meats, beef, lamb, and pork work beautifully. The char from the grill complements the wine's spice and dark fruit. Spicy and boldly seasoned dishes, some Mexican cuisine, chili, spice kebabs, or anything with cumin or smoked paprika pairs naturally with Carmenère's peppery notes. How about some roasted vegetables? Bell peppers, eggplant, zucchini, and mushrooms bring out the wine's herbaceous side, especially when roasted or grilled. Hearty stews, beef or lamb stews with root vegetables match the wine's body and depth perfectly. Cheeses, let's do some aged ones like Gouda, cheddar, or blue cheese. Those will balance the wine structure and amplify its fruit. How about some chocolate? Dark chocolate or chocolate desserts may sound surprising, but the wine's subtle sweetness and spice make it surprisingly elegant pairing. Well, let's reflect a little, shall we? Carmenère was lost, misidentified, and nearly forgotten until it finally found the place where it belonged. So, tonight's reflection is this: where in your life might something overlooked deserve a second look? A strength, a passion, a path you thought was closed? Maybe just needed the right environment to flourish. Give it a second look. Well, that brings us to the close of day 17 with Cielo d'Or, a Chilean Carménère that tells a story of rediscovery, patience, and place. Tomorrow, we open another bottle and continue this Advent journey, one glass, one story, one rediscovery at a time. Until then, stay curious, stay open, and happy Podmas.